Hey folks, what's up? The Big Dirty here. Still sick, still not feeling the best, but it is what it is. I mean, you can probably pick it up in my voice, and I'm still not exactly 100%. I'm just kind of taking things one day at a time, and hopefully it gets better sooner than later. It's not the COVID virus bullshit, coronavirus, whatever the hell you want to say. So, first of all, I'd just like to welcome here on this St. Patrick's Day. It is March 17th, St. Patty's Day, annual St. Patrick's Day. So, those of you who do drink alcohol, get out there and enjoy beer. I unfortunately quit, but I do have this. I do have my Heineken poured in a glass. And you know what? If it looks like beer, if it smells like beer, then it's beer. So on that note, I would like to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's. Cheers. All right. So for content for today, I want to show you guys something. I have a buddy. Oh, that's also why I'm wearing this thing. Sorry. St. Patrick's Day. I had to wear green. I don't actually own anything that is green, like a green T-shirt or anything like that. I did, but I think I spilled something on it one time and I ended up throwing it out. Whatever. Long story short, so this is what I own that's green. It's a scarf. It's a military type of scarf. I don't exactly remember what the hell it's called, but it's what the SEALs and the Afghanis, where the Afghanistan soldiers and stuff like that, where they all got dropped in, and they would have this to protect their face. So this actually doubles as a mask as well. And I look like a freaking terrorist. But anyway, just cruising along here. It was about over a year ago, a friend of mine dropped over. Now he's a computer savvy, computer technician guy. That's what he does for a career. I was having problems with the PC that he built me. And I asked him, I was like, hey buddy, can you come over and take a look, figure out what this is going on. Something was going on. I think a program is freezing or something like that to that effect. Anyway, he wanted to run diagnostics, and also I asked him to look at, the Wii U, getting the homebrew, working on that for, old games. He says, well, he's like, you know what? He's like, I'll do the homebrew thing, but he's like, honestly, let me just check your system out. And he told me to run emulators on my home PC. Now, I do a lot of things here in my home PC. I do have a lot of games, and actually it's getting to the point where space has become very limited. I think out of like maybe 185 gigs free or something like that out of shit. I'm not even going to try to remember. I'm just going to pop up some numbers. Okay, I'm going to look actually for you, the people. Okay, my max capacity is 166 gigs, so that first one was a lie. Use space, I have 143 gigabytes used up, and I only have 23.4 gigabytes free. So basically, I don't want to put as many things on this one home computer as I possibly can, because you know how it works, right? It affects the stability of your system. There's potential viruses that could come into play, and honestly, I just wanted something that was hold the test of time, because this is my main fucking hub right here. And right now I'm running 3 displays. It's pretty kick-ass. You see my room. You see how it's all set up. I'm running 1440p in this one monitor. I've got my boom microphone here, which is good. It works really good. You can hear me really good. Anyway, he came over and he used this exact computer right here. Now, this is a Dell Latitude 3330, I believe. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Dell Latitude 3330 computer. And what he had in here is Linux. Now, I don't know if you know the difference between systems, PC, Linux, and then there's Jewish, like Mac. Fuck, I hate Mac. But anyway, but that's just my opinion, okay? He used this, and he ran Linux with it. And he used Linux to basically debug all the little things I was having with my main PC here. He did that part for me. I was like really grateful for it, and I thanked him. And then he just kind of left this PC sitting around, this little laptop. He left this sitting around, and it's been here in my house for like the past. It doesn't take up very much space. It's a small little freaking. It's probably about 15-inch screen on this sucker, maybe even 14. I don't know the exact dimensions exactly, but it's a Latitude 3330 if you want to do your little research. Left it here, forgot about it, didn't even second guess it one bit. Got a hold of me literally the other day. Says, "Hey, is that old laptop still kicking around?" I was like, "Yeah." Why? Do you need it? He's like, "No." He's like, "Just throw it out." I was like, "What do you mean throw it out?" He's like, "Well," he's like, "those computers get upgraded through my company. They give me better machines to work with." He's like, "That thing's out of date." He's like, "Just toss it." He's like, "Take it to your local recycling shop and just toss it wherever they recycle computers." I says, "Well, if I were to reformat it, technically, you know, can I use it?" He says, "Just have it." He goes, "If you want it, just have it." So okay, so that was the first thing that kind of appealed to me. Number one, it's free. It didn't have a power supply. Okay, so that's kind of where I was lacking. And these power supplies in the back, like these Dells, they're little round plugins. I think it's got to be shit. How many volts? It doesn't exactly say on here. Oh, it's 19.5. Yeah. Okay, it's a 19.5 volt. So what I did is I actually went to my local Walmart. I asked the guy, "Do you have anything that's universal?" He says, "Sure." So he gives me like this black web. They're pretty common now. So for like the cost of $40, I went and picked myself up this black web with multiple adapters for different brands of PCs or laptops. Charge anything. You can charge even phones because it has a Type-C connector. And he's like, "Yeah, you can charge pretty much anything on this thing." That's pretty neat. Okay, so I come home. What the first thing I got to do? I got to power the thing. So I power it on. Goes into his login. I don't have his information. Obstacle number two. First one was no power supply. Obstacle number two, I don't have his login information. So I had to get a hold of him. He finally gets back to me like 2 hours later or something like that. And he says, "Man," he's like, "just wipe it." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, if you're going to use it, if you're going to use it for personal use, just wipe the damn thing." He's like, "Install a fresh copy of Windows." So I did just that. There's tutorials on how to do that on YouTube. I don't have to go through all that garbage with you. So I did that. I created a USB boot drive, as they call it, with one of these. Now, this is just your standard 32 gigabyte FAT52, and it's not even very name brand. It's called an MTech. I paid $8 for this from Walmart. 32 gigs of memory is not too bad. It's actually not too bad. It was enough to hold the fresh installation files. It was enough to format a booting USB. So I booted it up via USB. When you enter the BIOS, you choose the boot, and then you basically set it as your primary boot drive. Afterwards, you can change that option through the BIOS menu, and then it'll default, or actually, you don't. That's a lie. It'll default to Windows once you install Windows. So you got to go through all the prompts. It takes a long time. I had to get this thing hooked up to my Wi-Fi, to my internet. I had to download update after update. But after that was all said and done, I had a perfectly good working little computer. Now, like, just to give you it's not like this thing is good for travel. It's just whatever, right? So here we go. Boom. So I just charged this thing. I had it fully charged when I brought it into my room here. There's the Dell watermark, or the logo on the front. And yeah, so she's booting up right now. The only problem that I really, really have to address with this thing is that when you have it plugged in, it runs full power. Your performance is running at full. It doesn't hang up. It doesn't pause or nothing like that. It's pretty fast, pretty snappy for what it is, because what it is a freshly installed Windows computer, right? There's my personal little touch to it, the old Punisher. So I'm just going to log in here real quick, and I'll show you what I did. The only thing that's a pain is I got to figure out how to. I got a few controller profiles that I have to save. I have to map those out so that I don't have to keep on reinstalling. So anyway, this is the finished product, okay? So we got Iron Man there. He was looking pretty boss. We got some notifications over here for my email, and then your basic notifications. Now, what I'm going to keep this pretty light in terms of content. In terms of installation of programs, I went very, very minimalist with this thing. It's going to beep at me here for a while because it's first booted up and I got a bunch of shitload of YouTube stuff and all that other fun stuff that load up. So I went with a couple of options. Okay, the first one is going to be that media player. It's called the KM player. You can see it. Second is that second icon right there. It's called RetroArch. Now, I don't know if you know what RetroArch is, but RetroArch essentially is a emulation station. Okay, you can do anything. You can load cores, you can update cores, and it kind of looks. It reminds you of like what, like a PS3, I guess, kind of interface, right? So, see if I could do this while you can see it. So when I go into load content, right, because it's from my PC, you gotta get the ROMs, and you could find those online. But once you load a core into this thing, it saves it. So you got emulators like SNES 9X, you got Sega, you got arcade machine games and all that jazz and everything like that, right? Kind of cool. So when you go into this ROMs folder, you'll notice that I have 3 specific systems. There's MAME, there's NES, and there's Super Nintendo. Now those are just the beginning. Those are the starting points for emulation. But one that I have most populated is got to be this Super Nintendo. So, I mean, Earthworm Jim, Contra 3, Chrono Trigger, stuff like that, right? So, say if you want to play Earthworm Jim, right? You would load the emulator, which is an SNEX 9X, and you just hit boom. And I'm just going to show you. There's nothing wrong with that, eh? Okay. So yeah, there's your basic menu. You can start the game if you want. Well, you're gonna want to, but I'm not much of a keyboard and mouse player, and that's kind of how it has it set now. But in the menu of this RetroArch system, hold on, let me just exit out of here. Let's go back to the main menu. Okay. So anyway, in the settings tab of the main menu, you'll see input. Now, with this input, you can basically hook up any USB controller, any Bluetooth, if this thing is actually Bluetooth enabled, which is pretty fucking cool. But say you don't have any USB controller. Say you have one of these. Say you have a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, right? So you see that there's a little data link cable. What you do is you find that data link cable that you would use to charge it, to run it to the system or the socket on the wall or whatever, right? You plug it directly into the USB hub. It'll recognize it immediately, and then boom, you can just use it. It does that with PlayStation 4 controllers. These are really, really good. They're stable, they're familiar, so you're not going to get any hangups on them, right? You can also do other options. Say you're a pure retro game, perfectionist, and you have to have it with the same mapping, the same controllers and whatnot. That's why they made these. Okay, this is I got this from our local video game store. Now this is a Super Nintendo. Okay, and if you look on the other end, there's a USB hub. So Super Nintendo, and they also make one for regular Nintendo. Okay. So if you really want to play a game the way it's meant to be played, mostly meant to be played, because they don't play exactly as the same. You know, emulators, they glitch, they have little problems. This one runs pretty good. And that SNEX 9X program, it actually works really, really well with a PC-based emulation. Like RetroArch. RetroArch is a good, solid system, right? Now, if you're one of me, you want to do the arcade games just like you remember them when you were a kid. So if you're like me, growing up in the arcades, you knew exactly what you're getting yourself into when you had a pocket full of quarters and tons of time to kill, right? So this is why this was invented. So this here is a third party. It's Intech. It has the joystick. It has the buttons, right? So it's the arcade experience, essentially. And then you have different other variations. Like you got everything from R1, R2, R3, L3. I mean, even for modern-based PC games, you can even use this. But I mostly use it for the MAME cabinets because who doesn't want to play arcade in true native fashion like this? You know what I mean? Like you want the original components. You want to make it feel as much as to the original as possible, right? I got a Sega Genesis one kicking around somewheres, but overall, it's very pleasing to have this type of thing because number one, you can use it for traveling. Say if you have a stick and if you got it preloaded with a favorite season of whatever you're watching or even movies or whatever, just pop it in the side. That media player will enable it. Boom, done. It's finished. And very minimalist. It's not going to take a lot of room in your bag. It does have HDMI out. Oh, that's PC. Is the wrong side. Okay. Right there, there's an HDMI out. There's your USB bus. Over here, we actually have a SD card expansion slot as well. Wi-Fi works pretty damn good. We got a place here for headphones. You can even hardwire it in. If you get, if you really want that hardwire connection, you can. So, I mean, for the cost of basically $40 and a little time, I made this thing into an emulation machine. And it's something cool because I actually recently just got my spouse into it. And she's playing, the hell is it, Harvest Moon or something like that. Just a boring game. To me, it's boring. To her, it's pretty fun, but it is what it is, right? Anyway, I thought this was going to be a shorter video. Here I am rambling on for 18 minutes plus. But I just wanted to tell you that emulation is good when you can't afford, say a game like Earthbound. I know I have it, but say you want to play it and you want to keep that one in the original packaging as much as possible. This allows you to do that. You can still play that game, and you can still use a strategy guide because nothing's going to change about the game. It's just in a different platform. Rather than your basic, Super Nintendo, you're going to a PC, and you're emulating that experience. I got all the good classics on here. I got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the hell else? All the Mortal Kombat series. I got Killer Instinct, what's that one with the shit? I'm just trying to think. Primal Rage. I think that's the one with the ape and stuff like that, and where you can get hit by the fart gas and all. Yeah. Anyway, I have that physical copy actually for my Genesis, but at the same time, who the hell wants to go dig in anything? I know that's half the fun, but I mean, when you're on the go, seriously, fuck. This is the way to go, buddy. Grab yourself an old laptop or something like that. Find something fairly cheap. It doesn't have to be state of the art. It doesn't have to be, you're not running fucking 60 frames per second. You're running these old 16-bit games from the 1990, even before then, like early 80s with NES, right? This can handle that. I mean, if I wanted to even install my old Red Alert Command and Conquer games on here, I could. But the fact of the matter is that it's portable and it's available and it's right there at my fingertips. I could have it, boom, and I'm right back in my childhood again. So it's a good option. It's a good option for guys who are just starting to get into collecting. It's a good option for guys who want to cut down on cost, because that's the biggest thing, is that, I don't know. This is my rant for today, okay? I'm just going to go off on it. With this COVID-19 virus spreading, there is a recession to follow, where everything that people have bought out of the shelves, it's going to be come back. The restock is going to be stupidly high to do it. People are going to be put in a place where supply and demand, well, that prioritizes over economical means, right? So, like, instead of, how can I put this to you? Instead of paying your $2.85 for a loaf of rye bread, look out for $5 for a loaf of bread or something like that. Everything in cost is going to go up. Everything's going to get more expensive. Day-to-day living is going to be fucking hard. Okay, it's going to be harder, because basically what you're doing is you're isolating everybody right now. Resources are getting used up. You could see the fucking toilet papers clearing off of the shelves, which I think is the most ridiculous thing in the world. I've been sick with the flu for the past week, and I just got my doctor's orders not to return to work because he doesn't want me infecting anybody else. So I'm stuck at home, and I'm farting around with stuff. Yeah, because I'm starting to get bored. I'm starting to get stir crazy. I'm getting a little fucking anxious in here. So at the same time, I don't want to go out and I don't want to get fucking this COVID-19 BS that they keep going on about. But I like how the media is like focusing on this one thing solely, whereas there's probably 150 other things that are happening in the background that we're distracted from because our main focus is put here. Yeah. Think about that one. Just think about that one for a second. Aside from games, which keeps us nicely entertained and nicely bored and our minds actively away from all this bullshit, I think that it's time to wake up and smell the coffee, and just see things for how they are. What it is corporations are going to get greedier and greedier, and they're going to charge an arm and a leg. The cost of fuel, I can't believe it, man. I can't believe it. I think it was under 90 cents per liter here in Canada, and that's ridiculous. That is ridiculously low for fuel, considering the fact that we are just paying upwards of up to $1.50 a liter for gasoline. The cost of oil is like 28 something a barrel of oil. Like, man, there is recession that's going to happen with this, and there is a lot of families out there that are going to go hungry. And you got some fuckboy who's isolating himself up in Capitol Hill, and he's basically just ignoring the little folk, He doesn't have to deal with the fact that, A, we have to get back to work because we need to make money to feed our families. B, we have to have things affordable so we could actually fucking pay for them and not have our whole paycheck go to fucking groceries or basic maintenance and household items. This is bullshit. Saving up for that dream vacation now is a fucking thing of the past. You got to struggle to live day in, day out. And I suggest that if you don't have any good investments, stock market, fuck that noise. I was always a gamble. I know a friend whose stock market is plummeting at this moment. Everything that he's invested his life savings in his stocks are crashing because all these fucking all of these major corporations are bombing, and the Dow Jones is so low. The fucking NASDAQ is so low. It's never been this low. It's like a market crash almost. It's nuts. Just think about that. Let it soak in. Read shit. Research stuff. Don't be a stupid sheep. Don't be a dummy. And just educate yourself in the best way possible. When I'm not tinkering with stuff, trying to keep my mind occupied, I'm usually reading stuff. And that's kind of how it goes for me. Keep yourself educated. It's free. Fuck. The internet, okay? It's not just for bullshit. It's free. It's education. It's available. It's there. Use it. Don't believe everything you see on fucking CNN or CTV or NBC. Fuck those guys, man. They're basically paid to fucking lie to people. You know, oh, keep them distracted with this fucking breakthrough story. Meanwhile, you got like fucking people getting off right, left, right, and center behind the scenes. You don't even see those people. You don't even know that they exist. For all we know, there could be a fucking major battle happening on the other side of the world at this time exactly, and we're worried about fucking toilet paper. Fuck. Oh my god. That's enough of that. I'm not gonna fucking get into this crap. Okay. That's just my opinion. Okay. My views and my opinions are of my own. If you don't like them, see you later. If you like them, hit that like, subscribe, keep it going. I don't have very many subscribers or views, but my true loyal ones out there, I do appreciate you coming back time and time again to come and listen to me ramble about bullshit. So anyway, that's me for today. I'm gonna go get some nice chicken noodle soup. See you later.